We got some breaking news over here on Devoted Patriots 2 channel, folks. Earlier today, Barack Obama weighed in on what Trump has said about him, calling him a treasonous criminal and how he needs to go to jail. And Tulsi Gabbard has weighed in on that as well here just minutes ago. So we're going to go ahead and play this great clip I've got for y'all that explains the whole deal. And then I've got a couple more takes that add to the follow-up of what's really going on and what we've got to worry about when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of all these investigations. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Like I said, let's just go ahead and just jump right on in there. Now, this is Trump speaking at the Oval Office, first off, today while he had foreign country in the room. But people were still asking him questions, and sure enough, all the right questions come out about Obama, and Trump just let him have it with the truth, told the reporter, yeah, he's a crook, he's a criminal, in so many words, he needs to go to jail.
Oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. Yep. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level.
President Trump today calling out former President Obama after DNI Tulsi Gabbard sent a criminal referral to the DOJ related to her claims that Obama-era officials manufactured and politicized intelligence to create the Russia collusion narrative in 2016. Intelligence that those officials have said they had great confidence in.
John Brennan and Jim Comey and I are part of the group that were tasked by President Obama to put together all the reporting we had on the Russian interference, and which we did. And then, of course, on January 6th, we issued our intelligence community assessment documenting the Russian interference, in which we had very high confidence in the evidence that we presented.
Gabbard also teeing up that there will be more declassified documents coming this week. Ahead of that, here's what we've learned so far. December 7th, 2016.
Did y'all catch that? That's a little nugget in the conversation right there. Laura Trump says, Tulsi Gabbard says, we got more evidence coming, more documents dropping, more information coming out, more exposure of the corruption and who all was involved.
The assessment reiterated that Russia did not tamper with election infrastructure. Just one day later, the editor of that assessment canceled the brief, quote, based on new guidance. By December 9th, 2016, Obama convened National Security Council principals and ordered a new assessment. And on January 6, 2017, the new unclassified assessment was released. Obama's office today firing back, issuing the following statement. Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election but did not successfully manipulate any votes. These findings were affirmed in a 2020 report by the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee led by then-Chairman Marco Rubio. Joining me now to react is the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Director Gabbard, give me your response to what we heard from former President Obama there. He's saying that none of this makes any sense, that this is a distraction. What do you say to that?
It's the art of deflection coming from former President Obama, as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement, which doesn't actually address the issue that was revealed in great detail in the over 100 documents that we released last week and the documents that we will be releasing later this week that point to the undeniable fact that you laid out in your introduction to this segment, is that the intelligence community had one assessment, that Russia did not have the intent or capability to try to impact the outcome of the U.S. election leading up to Election Day. The same assessment was made after Donald Trump was elected by the American people as president in 2016, defeating Hillary Clinton. And it wasn't until after that pulled President's Daily Brief document that you referenced that the Principals Committee was called in the National Security Council, and President Obama then directed Obama's DNI James Clapper to lead the effort to create this new intelligence community assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow attempted to influence the outcome of the U.S. election. So this is the thing that I think people should pay attention to, is neither the message from President Obama's office, neither the statements coming from Democrats in Congress today and their friends in the propaganda media. None of them are addressing this fact that there was a shift, a 180-degree shift from the intelligence community's assessment leading up to the election to the one that President Obama directed be produced after Donald Trump won the election. That
Did you hear what she said? She said, directed to be produced. So they created it out of thin air because they didn't have nothing with the original investigation into the Russia thing. But they couldn't find nothing on Trump, no dirt. So they said, we'll just make some up and we'll just farm it out so far that nobody will ever know it was us. Well, they were so wrong. And just that very statement alone is going to come back and bite a lot of these people in the ass, I do believe. I believe them all getting on TV and spouting, whether it be before Congress or on CNN or MSNBC, spouting the whole Russia thing for so long, knowing that they were lying, knowing it was all about, let's just smear Trump. That's just playing politics. That's just what we do. Well, I do agree both sides do a lot of mudslinging during campaign season, but this went way beyond anything like mudslinging. This went to attack and to try to attempt and neuter Trump's presidency, tried to impeach Trump, tried to steal the will of the people, tried to usurp our government with just a handful of people at the highest levels. That's a coup. That's a usurper. That's treason. That's traitorous action. That's conspiracy. And so many fraud on so many levels. Not to include the auto pen and so many other things that are fixing to come down the pike. It's fixing to get ugly for the Democrats. Act Blue is under investigation. You Said is dead. Some of those factions are under investigation. You haven't heard a whole lot out of the Democrats the last few days about what's really going on because they don't know how to react. We're getting wins every day, and it now looks like we may be getting some Epstein information, but we'll get into that directly.
Completely contradicted those assessments that had come previously. The second thing I want to address that's very important, Laura, is that you in the clip that you played, you saw John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey stated with high confidence this January intelligence community assessment that they drafted at the direction of President Obama. The fact is that they used already discredited information like the Steele dossier. They knew it was discredited at that time, yet they used it as a source for this document that they claim to have high confidence in. They used intelligence that some of these intelligence community professionals rejected previously because of the lack of credibility and the lack of the ability to vet with any kind of confidence whether or not that information or intelligence was accurate and could be used for an assessment.
Now, you did understand what she was saying there. I'm sure y'all do know that Obama couldn't just float this before all of the FBI, all of the DOJ, all of the CIA. He couldn't just float this out there for all rank and file members to know what they were trying to pull off, which was lying on an intel information sheet by creating this whole Russia collusion thing. So what they did is they only got the people that Obama knew that would play ball, that were on his team, that a lot of them he helped get in position, and he knew who the corrupt ones were. He knew who he could trust to help perpetuate the lie, to make sure mainstream media had it leaked to them in such a fashion that they were all repeating the same mantra with the Russia collusion. Russia collusion, Russia collusion. It was everywhere, folks. There was so much Russia collusion on TV. It was ridiculous. We got tired of hearing about it. Most people know more about Russia collusion than they want to know. And that's just a sad truth. They basically shoved it down our throats trying to vilify Trump. Before he even got in office, they were trying to do this. But before, here's the catcher, but before Trump was in office, and this was already an active and a coup, a lot of the rank and file members that were privy to this attempt to blame it on Russian interference, and that's how Trump won. They were going to try to kick Trump out of office by impeaching him by saying he stole the election with help of Putin. Well, the original assessment honestly didn't say that, and so a lot of people knew about the first assessment. They knew it, and then you turn right around and you come back to them. Well, we found the smoking gun. Same story, but flipped on its head. Well, a lot of people, no, they didn't agree with it, so they started backing away from it. And so I'm sure the Trump haters were all in on it. But I'm sure a lot of the rank and file, or even maybe some of the top tier, said there's no there to go after this prosecution on Trump. From the get-go, they said this, and then next thing you know, it's an active investigation warranting impeachment. See how they did that? Well, they knew they were doing wrong from the get-go. Most of them, a lot of them some of them grew a conscience along the way. Some of them didn't go for it from the start. They're like, oh, I don't want to be a part of this. So everybody, how they handled it, I guess that's how they need to be dealt with. Were they complacent? Were they just following orders? Were they part of the coup? Were they maliciously going out of their way to make it worse for Trump and his team? Not just Trump. We're talking about a lot of people went to jail as soon as Trump got in office. General Flynn, they set him up. Paul Manafort went to jail. Several of Trump's inner circle were being investigated. Devin Nunes, Mark Meadows. The FBI was on Trump and his team like a duck on a June bug, no doubt about it. And it was obvious. By 2018, this story had been fully exposed between Cash Patel and Devin Nunes, and it was out there, but nobody was listening. The conservative circles knew about it. People in listen to podcasts knew about it, but the mainstream media, all they could hear was Russia, 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 Russia. And now the truth's coming out. Not just about that, about everything. And I'm so glad. And hopefully the truth will get us some justice. That's the plan.
There's a long laundry list of facts and intelligence reporting that directly contradict the statement coming from President Obama's office and those who are trying to deflect away from what actually happened, which was after Donald Trump was elected, led by President Obama, there was an effort to create a document that would serve as a foundation for what would be a years-long coup against President Trump, therefore trying to subvert the will of the American people who sent him to the White House in 2016.
Well, it's amazing that you are now releasing all of this. And Tulsi, I have to tell you, for those of us who lived through it, thank you. I think it's great that we're getting this information out. You say there is more information, there are more documents to be released. Anything you can tell us on that?
We will be releasing these documents shortly in the wake of the release that we did last week. I'm very encouraged by the fact that we have whistleblowers coming forward who are intelligence community professionals who were there when this happened and who were disgusted by it and are heartened at the possibility and the hope that the truth will see the light of day. And of course, the most important thing is that the American people see accountability, which is why we're referring and have already sent all of the documents that we have currently and any others that we get in the future to the Department of Justice to bring about that accountability, to ensure that the integrity of our democratic republic exists, that the American people can have faith and trust that who they vote for in our elections to be elected will actually be respected by those who are leaving power.
Amen to that. Well, Director Tulsi Gabbard, thank you so much for all your hard work, and thanks for joining us for a little.
That was a pretty good breakdown of exactly what is going on. More information coming out, calling for prosecutions. Everybody's calling for prosecutions, including Trump. I'm glad to hear it. I want these people to go to jail. I am so ready for these people to go to jail. Now, this is off the topic, but still related. I'm talking about this Epstein situation. We have found out as of yesterday that in several days now, they've been talking about maybe Ghislane Maxwell will testify before Congress. And I thought that was possibly going to happen. Well, now I'm hearing that the Department of Justice will talk to her. And so they're going to get an interview. Congress is going to be out of session for the entire month of August. Vacation, they get their month-long vacations, 6-week-long vacation every couple of months. But at any rate, so there will be no business in the House for about 5 or 6 weeks. And so I don't know if the House can do anything with the Ghislane Maxwell testimony other than just bring it to the American people, because Congress is kind of a dog and pony show. They don't actually have any ability to do any prosecutions. All they can do is hand over the information for referrals. But we don't need to go that route. We can go directly to the Department of Justice, and there won't be no need to wait on somebody to pass the buck. And so now it looks like the House panel had to vote on whether to subpoena Epstein's partner, Ghislane Maxwell, for a deposition. So they decided to do this, all right? As a matter of fact, let me put my goggles on, folks. It says everyone wants to hear what Maxwell has to say. Oh, hold on a minute. I gotta clean these. Oh, God. Apologize. Oh, they're still horrible. It says, with the Jeffrey Epstein case all over the news, disgraced British socialite and convicted sex trafficker Ghislane Maxwell has come back from the obscurity of a FCI Tallahassee cell to the spotlight again. I'm thinking she wants to get a plea deal, maybe get her case reduced for some information, some testimony. Sure she's not doing it just because she's a kind person. It's been just a few hours since we learned DOJ negotiated to have her testify on the whole Jeffrey Epstein controversy. So the DOJ is negotiating this to get this done. And now there's news from the U.S. House of Representatives, as the Oversight and Governmental Reform Subcommittee has just voted to subpoena her. Make her come in. That's even better. It's a Republican congressman from Tennessee, Tim Burchett, one of my favorites, moved to direct the panel to issue a subpoena for Maxwell to appear for a deposition, a motion to which the House approved by voice vote. I think some Democrats wanted to know, too. That's good. That's good. Everybody wants to hear what the heck that lady's got to say. I wonder if they're going to put that on pay-per-view. It's probably going to be closed deposition, transcript, or something we'll get the next day or later that day. But I wonder how she's going to tell on other people or spin the story to make it look like she was the innocent one, while she continues, in theory, to give a tell-all. Maybe reduce her sentence by 6 months for every pedophile she brings to justice. Not let her out, but definitely could get her sentence reduced. I bet she knows a bunch of them. Says the House Oversight Committee has just approved Tim Burchett's motion to subpoena Ghislane Maxwell over the Epstein case. This might actually be happening. So everybody that give up on the Epstein thing, well, I think we're headed in a new direction, folks. We may get a redo of the whole Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislane Maxwell, pedophilia ring, Lolita Express client list, or flight list, client list, little black book, all this information, transcripts from several different courts. It looks like we're going to get, whether this puts anybody in jail or not, we're going to get some more meat and potatoes from this Epstein files. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. We've been cock-blocked the whole time, and I thought it was by Pam Bondi, which now I'm finding out that she handled herself wrong and made it worse. But in reality, she's been cock-blocked by the DOJ. She's been cock-blocked by the federal courts that have some of these cases pending, where a lot of this information is being held, including in the Southern District of New York. And now that all that information is has been asked to be released, the judges have now all been asked to release all this information on several of these cases involving settlements in the Epstein case, a couple of the victims and things. And so there's where a lot of the meat and potatoes of who all was involved we'll find. As long as they get into it, just actually honestly get in there and show us what it says, what it proves. Because I would definitely love to see some of these people go to jail, like Les Wexner, the Victoria's Secret guy. He is the billionaire behind Jeffrey Epstein. Why is he not in jail? That just doesn't make any sense to me. Because he's from another country, lives in another country? Not good. Not good enough. Says this subpoena comes in the wake of a brewing controversy over the publication of the Epstein files, or as many simply call it, the Epstein list. Its bipartisan passage is also a sign of Democratic pressure on the topic. House Oversight Republicans have squashed prior efforts by Democrats on the panel to subpoena various figures, but the parties banded together Tuesday over a shared interest in Maxwell. In the meantime, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche wrote on X that the DOJ will not shy away from uncomfortable truths and will pursue justice wherever the facts lead. President Trump has told us to release all credible evidence. If Ghislane Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and the DOJ will hear what she has to say. Therefore, at the direction of Pam Bondi, I have communicated with the counsel of Ms. Maxwell to determine whether she would be willing to speak with prosecutors from the department. I am anticipating meeting with Ms. Maxwell in coming days. See, Ms. Maxwell knows that Trump is a very forgiving person, and if it helps the American people get clarity on this, I think Trump is willing to do whatever it takes to bring this forward, because he knows this is a bone we're not going to give up, folks. We are not going to give up on this case. We may think it's sad the way they tried to blow us off and tried to push it out. It didn't work, folks. We the people are going to win here. We have complained enough. We podcasted enough. We've watched enough videos. We wrote our congressman. We've made social media blow up behind it. This Epstein has been trending for 2+ weeks. 2+ weeks. Or actually since July 4th. July 5th, I believe it was, when the story originally broke. Epstein's been trending every single day. If you scroll through on Twitter or YouTube, you see Epstein's face on one out of every so many video clips. It is just, there is no denying that there is a hunger for this information, and I cannot wait to see what this lady has to say. Whether it's credible or not, I don't know. But she could probably prove with enough details that Les Wexner, Bill Gates, Kevin Spacey, I mean, who really knows who all? Maybe Obama himself. I mean, who really knows? But maybe we'll find out. I think we will. I think we will at least have more to work with before it's all said and done, because the Trump team is now actively trying to pursue all avenues of transparency in all of these cases, and I believe that. Now, there's still some holdouts and some redacted information for various reasons, and I believe some of the people that are involved in the government don't want this stuff to come out, but I don't know if they have the power to keep it from us anymore. The people have spoken. We, the people, are loud, and this is one of the things we had to get loud about. We got loud when we realized our election was stolen, and we never quit hunting them. We never quit discussing it. And just like this Ghislane Maxwell and Epstein case that they tried to make disappear a couple of weeks ago. No, we've been talking about this case, been hearing about this case, been watching the games that Pam Bondi played with the binders and everything, anticipating maybe something. No. We are not going to give up until we get justice in this country, folks. It may take 3.5 years to bring a lot of these folks to justice. I hope not. But if we've got active investigations going on, let's drop the hammer on these folks ASAP, because you never know what's going to happen in elections. We need to get it done under Trump's term ASAP. Otherwise, these people will continue to do what they do. It says, update. Following approval of Rep. Tim Burchett, Ghislane Maxwell's motion of the House Oversight Committee will now subpoena Maxwell as expeditiously as possible with a quickness. Are they going to learn anything yet? Are they going to learn anything new? Since Ms. Maxwell is in federal prison, the committee will work with the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Prisons to identify and date when committee can depose her. So, I'm under the impression that the Congress will talk to her, the Oversight Committee in the House. But I'm assuming, from the way it sounds, the DOJ will be asking her some questions too directly. Because she's probably going to want to make a deal if she's going to come out and do a tell-all. And that would be directly involving with the DOJ to see what it's worth. And I'm ready to see that. So she says, here we go. Ghislane Maxwell in talks with the Department of Justice about testifying. I'm so ready for this, folks. More than I'm worried about the Epstein, who's going to go to jail, if anybody's ever going to go to jail. Yeah, that bothers me. That justice hasn't been served yet. It does. But I do see that the train is rolling down that track in that direction. We're headed in the right direction to get justice. The people are amped up. The information is out there. The investigations are becoming more airtight by the minute, and they're all getting criminal referrals. I'm not talking about just these 3 cases, but a lot of individuals will be getting criminal referrals ASAP too. Over Act Blue, people like Adam Schiff, criminal referrals. Letitia James, criminal referrals. So many of the people that tried to go after Trump, criminal referrals. That's going to be the end result of going down the list, starting with Obama and Biden and all the people that colluded against Trump. And then the story lays out from 2016 all the way till now. And all the time between then and now, which is 8+ years, 8 years, 6 months. During this 8 years and 6 months, there is an overwhelming amount of evidence on a lot of things. And we've got, hopefully, the next year before midterms, the Republican Party, the Republican Party finds the grit and the balls, along with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and all the people that are at the top tier, able to do some real prosecution. I think Pam Bondi will be the one doing the prosecution, her or some of her prosecutors that work for her under the DOJ. But at any rate, this is the facts, folks. We've got a lot of things coming down the pike pretty quick, and it's all good stuff for us. I hope we get some arrest behind this. There's no other way to go forward with this without arrest. Trump's calling for it. There's videos out about it. The information is rock solid that they're criminals, including Obama. So I bet Obama, Clapper, Brennan, all these folks that were actively involved in usurping the will of the people, being traitorous to our president before he even showed up. Hopefully, justice will be served. That's all I can say. It looks like it's coming. Just my opinion, it looks like it's coming. I don't think we would head down this track and then right in the middle of it go, it's like the Epstein files. There's nothing to see here, nothing to see. I don't think it's going down like that. We know who the guilty parties are. Trump's talking about time for prosecution, put them in jail. And if Pam Bondi has any cojones at all, she'll do it. So, from Obama, Russia collusion, the Epstein list, and what to do with Ghislane Maxwell after she testifies, these are 4 things that are going to be in Pam Bondi's lap to deal with. Is she scared to prosecute Obama? Is she willing to go after the CIA director over the Russia collusion? Are they going to actively try to put Bill Gates and people like that in jail? The people that were not just Johns, but were helping the whole trafficking ring happen. I would be one of those people first. It's all in Pam Bondi's hands now, folks. So let's all pray she steps up. It doesn't just come to the plate by showing up on Fox News and telling stories, because we know she loves the limelight. So let's pray. Instead of her coming on Fox News saying, we got some information coming out someday soon. Instead of doing that, Pam Bondi, we're all asking and we're all praying and we're all begging. You just keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, do your job, and when you got enough evidence to put some handcuffs on somebody or bring them before the courts with indictments for criminal charges with an airtight case that will actually get a judge that's not an Obama judge to prosecute, because we should have some control over that. The Democrats seem to have control over who got to prosecute Trump, who got to prosecute all these conservatives. So in theory, Pam Bondi can have her choice of prosecutors prosecute these clowns. I hope so. I hope that's the way it goes. I hope we don't have an Obama judge protecting Obama appointees from the get-go. That's worst case scenario for this, but I believe there's too many people involved for nobody to go to jail. Matter of fact, I would say take everybody's passport at this point, because some of them are probably considering cashing out their 401k plans and moving out the country to maybe no extradition country. If I was a criminal and I had millions of dollars and done Trump wrong and knew I was going to go to jail if I stuck around, I think the only logical answer would be turn yourself in or burn off. And I assume they're going to do the latter. Now, Pam Bondi is already saying, we're going to get stuff done. I don't think she's been on Fox News yet today, but I think she said, we're going to get stuff done already. So let's go ahead and see what Pam has to say. Says Department of Justice does not shy away from the uncomfortable truths nor from the responsibility to pursue the justice wherever the facts may lead. The joint statement by the DOJ and the FBI on July 6th remains as accurate today as it was when it was written, namely in the recent thorough review of the files maintained by the FBI in the Epstein case. No evidence was uncovered that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Okay, so you didn't actually say that in the past. That would have been a lot more clear if she'd have just come out like that in the beginning. Says the president has told us to release all credible evidence no matter what. If Ghislane Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and the DOJ will hear what she has to say. Oh, she knows where the bodies are buried. Therefore, at the direction of Attorney General Pam Bondi, I have communicated with counsel for Miss Maxwell to determine whether she would be willing to speak with prosecutors from the department. That's good. That's not Congress. That's the DOJ. I anticipate meeting with Miss Maxwell in the coming days. Until now, no administration on behalf of the Department of Justice had inquired about her willingness to meet with the government. That changes now. So now, for the first time since Miss Maxwell has been locked up, the DOJ says, well, I guess it's time to start asking her some questions. How come they never asked her any questions before? How come asking her questions wasn't on the table a month ago when the country was blowing up behind the Epstein files? How come nobody ever considered to talk to her, talk to Miss Maxwell? It kind of leaves egg on her face, whether you know it or not, folks. It really does. Because that shows how complacent the DOJ has been all the way up till today. I don't know. It's weird. But this is what I do know. Kash Patel has responded, and it has went viral as well. And he says, get it. 2 words. Just get it. Let's get this done. Let's get it done, folks. We are going to get the information out. Now, hopefully, Miss Maxwell will come in and tell off on everybody, tell off on the Clintons, and give sworn testimony, bring in witnesses, and actually have the Clintons dead to right. Him and her, they're both a bunch of sickos, I have to believe at this point. I think Hillary's as bad as Bill, if not worse. Now, this is what I got. Last video clip of the day for you folks. Trump retweeted this. I don't know who made this. Maybe Trump. Oh, it looks like Trump's team made this. Okay. Check it out. This is a good one, folks. Banger.
President Trump marking 6 months in the White House.
It is my honor to introduce to you the 45th and the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump immediately getting to work with a remarkable show of the use of executive power.
We've never seen anything like this. There's 20,000 people cheering for every executive order signed.
President Trump comes in and immediately begins taking action to fix each and every one of these fires that the Democrats started.
It's 6 months delivering on the agenda. This ultimately is promises made, promises kept by the president.
This is a message to the rest of the world. The days of ripping off America and Americans are officially over.
The Trump archives are a series of near impossible feats.
We have the safest, most secure border in the history of this nation.
Border crossings have dropped so much that federal agents now outnumber illegal crossers.
He had a mandate and he's delivering on it. The American economy is better for it.
NASDAQ and S&P both hitting all-time highs.
Gas prices are down. Retail sales are up. $2 trillion in international financial agreement and record tariff revenue.
The USA is on a roll, culminating in the signing of the One Big Beautiful Bill on July 4th.
A bill for and by the people.
Thanks to this bill, Trump could resign tomorrow and still point to an enduring legacy.
And he's full steam ahead for America.
This movement that President Trump has started is only getting bigger. It has more energy, more enthusiasm.
What he's going to do is show up and work hard and deliver every day for the American people.
You're watching history, so buckle up, because the next 3.5 years will probably be just as busy.
That's right. Buckle up, Buttercup. Next 3.5 years is going to be just as busy. And I ain't mad about it. I love it. I love it. We have seen more in the last 6 months than I ever anticipated in the next 4 years. So, who knows what's coming next? But eventually, when we get done with all the economic business in this country, get the immigration flow, illegal immigration flow moving as expediently as it needs to, now that we have the money, the backing, and the troops, and the extra 10,000 ICE agents to assist, that's going to start running smooth. And then maybe Trump, after he gets done with some of these tariff deals, will have time to brief us on the I told you so's of how many people we're going to watch go to jail over the next 4 years. And I'm hoping before midterms they really kick the Democrats in the teeth by running Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Susan Rice, Brennan, Clapper, Strzok, Page, and the whole list of the 88 people that I know were directly or indirectly involved. And I'm just throwing the 88 out there because that was a number I heard. I can list off about 25 of them, but yeah, there's a lot. And it was definitely a coordinated effort to try to usurp Trump. They couldn't stand it that he won, and they said, well, we'll just neuter him, lie to him, keep information from him, and then create information to keep him on the ropes while his own three-lettered agencies are actively working for the previous guy. And they got so busted. I'm so glad to see that all this is coming out. That's election interference in 2016. So they tried to usurp the 2016 before, after, and during. The 2020, they just robbed us blind. And in 2024, they tried again, but just didn't have it. They had been exposed. They had done wrong too many people in the country, and too many people were sick of living under the Democrat regime for the last 4 years, and everybody was ready for a change. No matter how you feel about Trump, we knew he was the right guy for the job. We knew he was the best answer of choices we had. And on that note, so glad, so blessed, so happy to know we got 3.5 more years of Republican control of the House and the Senate, in theory, because we're going to gain seats. In fact, we're going to gain seats next year. So we'll have the House, the Senate, and the presidency for the next 4 years. All we got to do is stay at this pace, and we should be able to get everything we need done, most everything we need done, minus getting everybody out. That'll take 10 years probably to do. But the facts be known, I think we're going to get some prosecutions too, folks, and that's what I really wanted to hear. I want to see justice. I'm tired of watching weaponized government treat some people with kid gloves, and then other people just backstab them, hit them over the head, and drag them through a pile of lies, and then tell the media, yep, it was all them. We're done with that, folks. We know who the enemy is, including the media, the propagandists, and maybe, and I've been thinking about this a lot, maybe as a result of this crossfire, hurricane, Russia collusion, hoax, scam being exposed, and all this stuff going through the courts, going through indictments, going through people getting arrested, they're going to have to not deny the fact that they lied. Somewhere along the way, all these news organizations, when people start going to jail behind the lie, what are the news stations going to do to defend themselves when they carried the lie? I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to be implicated for defamation? Do you think the news media knew the Russia collusion hoax was a fake? I believe they knew. And if you could prove that, they could be liable as well. So I'm thinking that will be the final result of all of this stuff coming out, is the media is going to pay dearly for being on Team Socialism for the last 8 years. And that's just the facts, folks. TDS is not what the mainstream media has. They've got a touch of the socialisms. And that's what I really believe. More than they hate Trump, which they hate Trump, but more than they hate Trump, they hate our country. And they love the people that fill their coffers, which is the people trying to destroy our country. Go figure. That's what I got for you today, folks. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and share, and all that good stuff. Good stuff's coming, folks. Over and out. Be patient. It's on its way.